so you're insulin dependent now. Have fun. You know, it's not really the same as everybody else's insulin dependency. So.
Yeah. Although we all get the same thing in terms of type 1 diabetes. There's so many little things that are quite the same. I think when people are newly diagnosed, the support should be intensive. It should be almost, I don't know if it's maybe on a daily basis, some sort of contact. But because we're so unique with, like you two just mentioned there, even the insulin you're taking, it can be down to body size, and it can be down to anything. You know, you could be still on your honeymoon, you could still be making a little bit of insulin. It can be anything. So for you, Harvey, to say that you found you hardly got any support, like hardly anything within the first 6 months, here's the insulin, off you go.
Yeah, and like I say, I don't think it was a lack of support in terms of the people that were there when they were there to support me. You know, the healthcare professionals do an absolutely phenomenal job with the workload that they've got, and they do an awful lot for you. But at the same time, there's not enough of them for you to be able to have that kind of support. Like, I was given my DSM's clinic number, so I could call her if I needed her for anything, if I was struggling, or if I was having hypos like constantly and I didn't know what to do or anything like that, I could ring her. I rang that number 4 times and it was a disconnected number by the time I'd actually got around to ringing it. So it's not, you know, the lack of support for anything. It was just dial tone. It wasn't even ring this number to get through to somebody. It was literally just, no, you've got no support left now. You need to wait until your next appointment.
That's bad. I've seen on Twitter people talking about support. The UK, Diabetes UK, posted something a few days ago about their support line if you needed some help. The support line was only open on work days between, I think, 8 and 6. So if you work full time and you need help, you're not getting support on that line. There's a lot of talk at the moment about there being more, almost 24/7 help support somewhere. I suppose there would be with the NHS, but it's not going to be specialist diabetes support.
No, and
I've seen a few tweets since then that maybe suggest that could happen in future.
The support that you'll get through the NHS as well is a bit lackluster. It's people in a call centre, basically. Do you know, like if you call out of hours, so if you ring like the 111 number or whatever it is, because I was taking statins when I was first diagnosed because my blood pressure was so high, because my cholesterol was so high. So I was taking like a lot of statins, and the statins can have an adverse effect on your muscles. They can effectively make your muscles ache so much you can't really move them. And I couldn't lift my arms to ring them on the phone. I had to put my phone on the floor and get onto the floor and dial it with my finger, like just down by my side, because I couldn't raise my hands. And they said, well, if it gets worse, go to your GP. If it is really bad, go to the hospital. And I was like, okay, so you've just told me what is already running through my head anyway. So it's not, you know, I do think there needs to be something a little bit better, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. So how do you find support in terms of the community now, or do you feel more kind of part of it? I know you don't make diabetes a big part of your life, do you?
I do sort of feel now because I've had that experience, I do feel like I'm just not going to comment on it. I'll share if I feel like something I've been through is relevant and I think it might help someone, I'll mention it on a comment or anything, but I try not to say too much because I'm a bit nervous of getting that reaction back. Because it's almost like some people think the 20 years I did go through it don't count, and I just can't be asked with being judged, or I don't want to feel like people think I'm a know-it-all or, I've been there, done that. It's not the case at all. And so I don't really say much on it, I sort of just talk to my transplant buddies now.
I think it's a shame because, you live 20 years with type 1 line as you get older. So you must have a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom that you could share with people, but not to feel kind of a little nervous about speaking up. I think that's a shame.
I've had people on the on groups for parents of type 1 teens. A lot of them are like interested in what I have to say, because obviously the age I got it and how I maybe didn't do the best, make the best decisions around it when I was a teenager. And then my story of what happened, I think it's been really helpful to them. So I'm glad, if I can help people, I'm glad, because like I say, I didn't really know anyone. I'd never heard anyone's story of diabetes. I didn't know it, how I was told by the specialist, you can lose your foot, you can do this can happen. But it never felt real, because I'd never had anyone, who'd gone through it that could tell me, it's like someone saying you can go out and get hit by a bus. You're not going to go out and be scared of every bus you see, because, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, anything, it could happen, but until you've met someone that it's actually happened to, it doesn't feel real, and it doesn't feel like it can happen to you. So I want to let people know, it can happen. And also, I really struggled with blaming myself, because I just was a teenager, a stupid teenager that didn't take the condition seriously. But I know people that have had the transplant that had was well controlled and, textbook good diabetic, and they still ended up in the same position as me. Because like Harvey was saying, everyone is different. Everyone's diabetes is different, and whether you do everything right or you get things wrong, the complications can happen somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
And people blame themselves for it, but it's just the way, the luck of the draw sometimes.
I think it is, yeah. I mean, somebody quite well known on Twitter says that it's a hazard of the condition. And it is. It can happen. You can be as good as you can be as a type 1 diabetic, and a complication can occur. But I suppose looking after yourself in inverted commas will minimise that.
But I also know someone that doesn't look after themselves and not one single complication. So, do you know what I mean? I think it's obviously I want to reach out to people and say, this can happen. It's best to look after yourself, but don't blame yourself if it does.
Yeah.
Basically, that's my stance on it anyway. You should look after yourself, and the information and support should be out there for you, and you should do what you can with it. But if something happens down the line, and you've made a few mistakes, we all make mistakes and have bad days and stuff. It doesn't mean it's your fault.
Yeah, I firmly believe that. I think it's impossible to be the perfect diabetic 24/7. You're going to have bad days, bad weeks, bad months, and just not pay any attention to it sometimes. It's just part of life. It's impossible, I think, to be on the ball 24/7.
Yeah, you can't predict what's going to happen, and you can't blame yourself if and when something bad does happen, because it can happen to any of us. That's just the nature of the condition, and as you say, it affects everyone differently.
Yeah.
What works and what works for one person might not work for another. It's a brittle condition, isn't it?
I suppose it is. Yeah, I mean, you could have people with higher A1Cs than you, and they never develop any complications, and they live a long life. You could have, a lovely, perfect A1C of about 5.5%, and get all kinds of stuff happen to you. I know people with good A1Cs that have got little niggly things going on.
Yeah.
And they wonder why. But it's, as you said, it's just part of being a type 1 diabetic. Sometimes shit's going to happen, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I could easily drive myself crazy thinking, if I'd have done the Daphne thing 10 years earlier, would I be where I am now? But you are where you are, aren't you? So
I think, there's that point as well, though, that regardless of whether you'd have done that earlier, life gets in the way, and you make stupid decisions and make silly mistakes, because at the time you think it's the right thing to do, even if you know it's not the actual right thing to do. You know, we've all done bad things. You know, so I don't think that people can really hold themselves to that higher level of culpability, because at the end of the day, you just do what you think is right in the moment, or that's the most fun.
What kind of life would it be if you were living life just to, you know, make sure your diabetes was okay 24/7?
Exactly, you know, it's a full-time job, but that does mean that sometimes you need to clock off and actually go and do something else, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for your mental health as well, isn't it? You just need a bit of time where you need to forget about it sometimes, even if it's just a few hours or for the day. I don't think it's going to have a significant impact upon you. If you forget about it for weeks and weeks on end, you're going to finish up in a bad way, perhaps. But you know,
I think that's the trouble. When I was diagnosed as a kid as well, you were made to feel like so under pressure to get it right all the time, and maybe that's why I sort of rebelled against it a little bit, because you're just like, you can't do this, you can't do that. Do you know what I mean? That's how it was because when I was first diagnosed, I think I was told that I can't have chocolate and sweets and stuff anymore. Because obviously back then, you know, I think it was a bit different. I was told, you know, I remember saying to my mum, does that mean I can't even have yogurt because it's sweet? Do you know what I mean? So that was my initial experience of diabetes, which you can't do this, you can't do that. You won't be able to do this when your friends are doing it. And I think that it put so much pressure on me that I just sort of
rebelled
it and did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Without any knowledge of what it would do to me.
I don't necessarily think that changes though either. You know, obviously, like I was diagnosed later on. I don't think that changes in terms of what people's expectations of you are.
No.
Because when I was first diagnosed, like all the support in the world I got from my husband, he's absolutely great, and he'll do anything for me. I can be in the bath and I'll feel a little bit low, and I'm like, get me a juice, and he'll just go and do it. He's absolutely great. He'll do whatever I want. But in terms of when I was first diagnosed, if I was testing my blood sugar and he saw what the number was, say if it was like double digits, he'd be like, oh. And it's one of those things. It's not something that people are intentionally trying to guilt you about, but it makes you feel like less of a person and more of that number. And it makes you feel like a bad person, absolutely, it really does. And I don't think that ever changes. I don't, you know, even without having to do like your blood sugar tests and things like that now, I don't think that probably has never changed for you either. You still feel like, because you still have type 1 diabetes and stuff, people are still like, oh, but there's that type 1 diabetes, she's got to look after herself, and she's got to do this, that, and the other. And it just makes you sometimes feel like, yeah, but I actually know who I am and I'm in control of my own body, so maybe just back off a little bit. And it's not even that people are doing it in a bad way, it's just, you know, people make offhand comments and don't have the hindsight to be able to see how that affects you in an emotional way or in like a mental health sort of way. Sometimes it can really like knock you. So
yeah, I was out on Saturday night I had a few drinks in town and that, and a couple of people were asking me about like my condition because I was in my chair and stuff, and I said I'd had a transplant. They were, oh, should you be out drinking? I thought, you know, I know what my body can do now, and I've spoken to my team, and people just sort of, although it's sort of out of half concern, you just think, you know, if I know what I'm doing, they don't know your life and the ins and outs of it. So I do understand. There's a thing of concern, but it does annoy me. But I wouldn't be doing it if it was going to kill me.
Exactly, yeah. And I think a lot of the time it comes from a place of care or concern, but that doesn't make it feel like you're not being judged for it.
Yeah, and then you think, oh, maybe I should. Yeah, because I did think then, oh, maybe I should stop now, or maybe I shouldn't have another drink. I thought, well, actually, no, it's all right.
I know, it can make you worse as well, can't it? Because you can be like, well, no, I absolutely know what my body can handle, and you could be quite drunk and be like, I really shouldn't be drinking anymore, but you're like, no, they said I couldn't fucking do it, and I will.
Yeah.
And it's all because that one person's aired that view of caution, and you're like, that absolutely get out my face. You do not know who I am. You need to back up about it. Which, you know, people should. They should just wind their necks in and keep their mouth shut.
Yeah. They should. That's the good thing about socialising. If you go to diabetes meetups, you socialise with other diabetics. They don't judge you when you've had a pint of beer and your blood sugar's like 14. It's like, oh, okay, because they've been there. But if you go out with somebody that isn't a diabetic and they've got a little bit of knowledge about diabetes, you do your blood sugar test and it's like 12, 13, like, oh, why is it so high? What's the matter? There's an element of shock about it.
Do you get a lot of, what have you been eating?
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially not my mum, believe it or not. You know, it's kind of worse sometimes with family members because they feel more open with you about their views. But even so, they don't understand the condition. And it's, should you be eating that? I still, even today, maybe they don't verbalise it, but they'll still look and think, why is he eating that? It's not going to make him high. Or is he eating that because he's having a hypo? Well, no, I'm eating this cake because I like fucking cake. That piss off.
Yeah.
Holly, I think we've had a good chat. We might need to cut this into two. You've got a blog. You've just started a blog, haven't you?
Yeah. I think a few of your listeners will know about it. It's just telling my story to see if it will help anyone. It's gone down quite well on Facebook and stuff so far. So yeah, you know, it feels good to get it out as well. And just share my experience, and I've had quite a lot of feedback from people.
I've noticed that you've had a lot of visitors. Yeah. So you feel it's been kind of a vehicle to vent what's gone on with you over the last few years.
Yeah, I think so. And just like I said, when I was growing up, I had no one sort of tell me their story, and I felt like so alone. And if writing about it can make one person feel less alone, and know that someone else has been in their shoes, it'll be worth it. And if no one reads it, then I feel good writing it out and getting it off my chest. So
yeah, I think that's why I started blogging, and I don't know about Harvey with the podcast. We have a lot of fun, we have a lot of laughs on it, but it's a good way of just getting a few issues off your chest. So maybe you feel that way with your blog as well. It's definitely a good thing. Thank you, Holly. It's been an enlightening chat we've had today. Are you going to come along to TAD in Oxford?
I don't know yet. Maybe. I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Maybe we'll see you there if you do.
Yeah. If there'll be people that I know. Otherwise I'll be just this random girl that hasn't really got diabetes that no one wants to talk to. My fancy new pancreas.
Stop flashing it about.
Yeah, I know.
We're jealous enough.
Yeah, she's just got it in her purse. She's just going to wave it at people and be like, this is my new pancreas.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like people think, oh, this is how she can just go out and get a new one. It doesn't work like that, mate.
I'll take two.
Yeah.
It's been a good chat. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
So, you are Hollywould2112. But it's not Hollywood like the Hollywood sign, is it? It's Wood. W-O-U-L-D.
Yeah, 'cause I'm funny.
Because she's special. She's unique.
Oh, thank you.
So that's going to be the end of this podcast, the end of this sandwich. Thank you for listening. I'm Diabetic Dad UK on Twitter.
I'm diabetic_me on Twitter.
And we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.